Now, while there is a lot of different games that you can play in the world of tabletop RPGs, it can be a little maybe intimidating to try and find your way in, because if you don't already have a group with someone DMing, you've got to try and figure out what to do. So here to sort of give some tips for new players, I got Brendon here from the, I'm gonna butcher it again.
That's all right, let's go.
The Melbourne D&D
Adventurers League. That's all right, you almost got that. No problem at all. Yeah, so I think there's so many people, we see honestly constantly people coming in being like, I've heard of D&D, I've heard of role-playing games, I want to get involved, I want to play it, I don't know how to do it. Honestly, that's kind of part of like why we as an organization exist, because we wanted to try and make it easy for people to find a game. So I think that that's something to kind of consider if you're trying to start out just getting your feet wet with playing D&D. It's difficult sometimes to like get all of your friends together. Someone then has to learn to be the DM, which is a little bit of a daunting experience to begin with. But like finding that first table, finding like the table that's right for you to start playing is difficult, because that might be turning up to a public open table, and for some people, even experienced players, sometimes that's the easiest way for them to play, or the way that they prefer to play, because they work weird hours, or they have a difficult time getting together with a bunch of friends and committing to it and so forth. So for them, the right table is for them to just turn up and start playing with a few people.
I feel like it's probably very similar with board games. Is one of the hardest challenges actually scheduling.
Yes, yeah.
The group to come together.
Scheduling is the hardest monster in D&D.
Yeah, especially when you want to play like a campaign or a legacy game. It'd be different if you want to do one-shots. Obviously, that makes it a little bit easier. So you've got to sort of find the right table. What's next?
Yeah, well, I mean, finding the right table too is like not even just about that. It's sometimes about like, sometimes your friends aren't the right people for you to play a game with, because what you want to get out of it might not be what they want to get out of it. Sometimes it's about you realizing like, well, I've been playing, or I've been watching people play D&D. There's a lot of these actual play shows of people like, on Critical Role or Dimension 20 or something, and they've been watching that for a long time. They're like, oh, I've got a pretty good idea of it, and I want to play that kind of game. I want to play this really in-depth story-based game. But their friends don't want to play that game. They want to play, we turn up into a dungeon and we bash things, and it's a very different thing. So sometimes finding like those right kind of people to play it. But I think that that's also like a little bit of a downfall for some people, because they've seen other people playing. They've seen, professional voice actors. They've seen, professional comedians playing a game. They think that's also how they have to play. And that can be incredibly daunting for a first-time player as well. And I think that it's important to remember that you don't have to be that to start playing, and you're going to have more fun, and probably you're also going to be better if you just play like yourself.
Yeah, because I think you're right that like we do see a lot of that, of like, this is what the game is, or this is, have those epic stories. And then you've got to remember, like, these are people whose job and they get paid to do that, which means that they can, it's their work day.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with, but they're also performing.
Yeah,
When those people play in their home games, they're not necessarily performing in exactly the same way either. That they're it's a game inherently for for you to enjoy. It's not about putting on a stage production kind of thing, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like I like that really kind of in-depth role-playing kind of thing, but it's not for everyone. Sometimes it's something that you need to find the right kind of group for and stuff. It's also, I think, one of the kind of things that we see sometimes too is people who have played like a bunch of like Baldur's Gate 3, who are like, oh well, I know all this kind of stuff because I've been playing this kind of game, and I want to do this and I want to do this, and there's an excitement to that, forgetting that you were playing a solo game doing that. This is now a table with 5-6 people on it who you're trying to tell a story collaboratively with. You're trying to together play a game and like be fans of each other, talk to each other, do things, share the spotlight, be excited about each other's successes and stuff. It's not about like, oh, I know the answer to that. I know the answer, and you spend 90% of the time, doing everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the issues in board games with cooperative games is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Who wants to, on your turn, you do this, and then it's like,
You can do that one.
Sure, that might be the best thing to do to beat the game, but it's not a fun way for anyone to play.
Yeah.
So I guess obviously with role playing as well, you don't want to have one person talking the whole time, and everyone else being like, okay.
Yeah, it's a mindset thing too. Like, I think you've got to get into that mindset of enjoying immersing in that world with everyone else. It's not about who solves the puzzle first. It's about like, well, we're all here in this room. Who, oh, I'm going to help this person do this. I'm going to, help this person do this, and make sure that like everyone is having a fun time.
And then after that, what's the next tip?
So the DM is not your enemy. This is, I think, something that people have a weird concept of, and maybe some of it is like horror stories from Reddit or whatever, but the DM player experience kind of relationship thing is not one of the DM is trying to kill the players. The DM can kill the players anytime they want. The DM has total control over the game. I can make a monster fall on top of you and kill you all anytime I want. That's not fun, and it's not what I'm here to do. But it is a little bit of kind of a mock rivalry. It's a little wrestling kayfabe. It's a little, the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals kind of thing. I have to put things in your way to make you feel like a hero. The hero has to go through fire and come out the other side victorious, so you have to be challenged. But there's this mentality with players, especially new players, that like, oh, don't tell them about that. Don't let them know that we've got this planned or whatever, because they'll stop it. They'll do, they'll make sure that we can't succeed or whatever. And like, actually, it's going to be more fun if I know what you want to do, because I can make that more interesting. I can try to kind of work around that. Realistically, the DM is just a player at the table. They're there to have a fun time as well. They're there to try to build a world that everyone is enjoying. They're not here to be adversarial.
And I guess when you talk about that collaboration nature with the storytelling, is it goes both ways of the DM is sort of helping to like what the player's doing and sort of interact and adapt to that.
Yeah.
In the same way that they're not trying to, this is the railroad story either.
Yeah.
So I guess it's, a case of both the DM being like, you've got freedom for them to do something. It's not my fantasy novel that I never published that I tell the story.
Absolutely.
But in the same way, it's not as you're saying, it's not the players being like the DM is the worst and then stopping me from doing everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Ideally, you're all on the same page. You've all sat down together. Had what we call like a session zero, where you kind of talk about your expectations. You talk about like, well, this is the kind of game that I want to play. This is the kind of things that we want to be able to do. This is what my character wants out of this. And then you're kind of working together to try to kind of tell that story, have that arc, and everyone's going to have a fun time.
So I guess we've got sort of a big overarching sort of some basic sort of ideas of how to step into the world of tabletop RPGs, whether that's just starting off to do a couple of the one-shots to sort of find if there's a system or a style that you like.
Yeah, experiment. So, have a few different kind of games with different people, different styles, and kind of work out what you want to do, and just kind of have fun with it. You don't have to find the right game the first time, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't. A lot of people have a bad experience first. They play a game that isn't right for them, or they find a group of people that to play with that isn't right for them. But yeah, look it up, find a few different options or whatever, and find what works for you.
Thank you very much for showing us a little bit more into the world and giving us some advice on how to get started.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.